Grow, baby. What's up, everybody? I'm Dan Inglese. This is the Growth House where you come to grow. Oh, what do you need to know to grow? Well, guess what? You came to the right place to find it. I'm here with Matt Stransky and Randy Hambright.
What's up, guys?
Howdy, howdy.
Tell me, guys, what does the Growth House mean to you?
Ooh. The growth house to me is, being really vulnerable, right? Being really open about growth itself. It's good, it's bad, it's ugly. But I think at the end of the day, what we're here for is to try to be the most badass person that we can be. For me, that's entrepreneurship, that's being a dad, that's being a husband, exactly a son, right? But all areas of my life, just trying to be the best me.
How does being a good son relate into that?
Ooh. Well, I think, right? I mean, obviously, I think much of my growth came from my mom and dad, right? So acknowledging that first. But yeah, I mean, being a good son, I think it's everything, right? I mean, I'm just trying to pay it forward, meaning being a good son and teaching the lessons that, my family has passed on now to my two little guys, right? Trying to create that legacy. And then I love my mom, man. I'm a mama's boy, right? Yeah. What's up, Mom? So for me, it's being hopefully a great reflection of them. And really, what a Stransky stands for.
Nice. That's awesome, man. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't love my mom. No, I'm just kidding. I love her. Randy, what up? What about you? Growth House. Why do you come to the Growth House, Randy?
I think it's about looking inward, in an honest way. And the only way to grow is to focus on the things that you're not strong at. Coming here, doing our first podcast,
Sure.
Not knowing what you're doing, you have to always be a beginner if you're going to continue to grow, and that comes with being honest about what's going on.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And if you guys think the production of this episode of the podcast is good, just wait. We're only improving.
That's it.
Exponential growth from here. So that's what the Growth House means to us, kind of a place to improve and, have a good time and kind of go into some of the mistakes or things that we've made that we could change and make better about ourselves and how to do it.
Absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about what you guys do. I know we're all kind of in real estate, but Matt, give us a little bit of your background here.
Yeah, at 43 years old, definitely, just continuing to fail forward. Graduated from Central Michigan University. Studied entrepreneurship and marketing, and I'm from Shelby Township, so originally born and raised there. Now I find myself living in Berkeley. I've been married for 13 years, right? Love my wife. Shout out to Annie. I got two little boys, Quinn and Parker, 8 and 6. I've been kind of a serial entrepreneur my whole life. Now just like Dan said, we find ourselves obviously on the same real estate team with Stransky and Company. I love sports. I don't necessarily watch them, but I love to play them. I'm a jiu-jitsu nerd. I've done that over a decade, getting close to my black belt here. And, nice. My 5 things are God, family, real estate, and jiu-jitsu. I'm pretty boring, but at the end of the day, those are all the things I love. And that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
Nice. I'm pretty sure Randy and I could take you. That's besides the point.
That's why I train. Yeah.
I wouldn't want a shot at that.
We're close to our second belt, which is however many belts away from being close to your black belt. It's not that far.
There you go.
What about you, Randy? Tell me a little bit about your background.
Met in college. We've been friends ever since. I was in the insurance industry. That was the industry I was born into. My dad had an agency. So I worked in that field till 2011 to 12-ish, and then focused on playing music during the next period of my life, and then eventually realized I needed a job that was steady and something I love, and went to Matt, and he was already in the business, and we started working together in 2014 and haven't looked back since. Love what I do. It's my purpose, and I have a wife, Melissa, 2 daughters, Kieran and Kendall, 8 and 5. And, just living my life, trying to grow it, being a real estate agent.
Nice.
Being a dad.
Randy's a badass drummer, too, so don't let him sell you short there. If you guys
appreciate that.
Any band openings or performance opportunities and you need a drummer, he's here to kill it.
I love it.
So now we're going to get into the pleasantries are done, guys.
Why don't you tell us about you, Dan?
Oh, there's nothing important.
Oh, there's plenty important.
let's see. Yeah, I graduated from Michigan State with my acting degree. And kind of, after college, people kind of go a little crazy and don't know what they want to do. And then COVID happened. So just a few things where I was like a little wandering for a few years and had a few different jobs. And now I feel pretty good here. I feel like I found a good home with these guys, and we're all trying to, focus on the same stuff, trying to get better. So
Love it.
we're improving, baby.
This guy's
Dan's
great on the
pure
phone, by the
entertainment.
way.
What'd you
Great
say?
on the phone.
Yeah,
Oh, great on the phone. I get
You.
a good phone. Yeah.
it's true.
Just call me, baby. I should get we should do if it doesn't work out, we're going to do a 1-900 number. And we'll just be nice and...
Love it.
Anyway, now the fun stuff's gone, guys. No more laughing. Like we said, it's the growth house. We want to grow. We want to get better. And we're all trying to become more successful. And we're wondering about failure today and if you have to fail to succeed and if you learned from those failures and that's what made you successful. Right there on the board, Matt, it says, do you have to fail in order to win?
You do. I think inevitably you do. If you're smart, you'll fail fast. I think it's the stepping stone, right? I mean, using my little guys now, they're 8 and 6 and, soccer players, and especially my oldest right now, I mean, he's obsessed. And that's what we talk a lot about, right? With moments that are hard, the moments you fail for him, maybe the game he didn't score a goal, that's what propels you, right? I think the first thing it does when you fail is it creates some fire in your belly, right? If it's done right. Meaning it's the catalyst, right? I mean, at that point, you're either going to quit or you're going to grow, right? And as long as you choose that option, like I'm telling my son right now, there really is no failure, right? You only fail if you quit, right? I've been in real estate a really, really long time. I've had ups, I've had downs, but it's collectively, going to be the score at the end, right? As long as I don't quit. So I think you've got to stack the failures. And then when you get to a point of success, that's where it gets kind of tricky, right? You get your ego involved, right? And you don't really want to have failures, right? You definitely don't want them to be public. But again, that's kind of what this channel is about. I mean, we're messing up shit every day, right? I mean, that's really our goal. It's one of our core values. So yes, I think you have to fail. It gives you the fuel to chase after success. I think that's where you create this relentless persona through the failures, and it's just part of it. I don't see success being built without it. I don't.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm with you there. I think, too, like you said, you don't ever really kind of fail if you don't quit. You kind of, like, when you do fail, once you get used to it, you kind of can, like, laugh at it.
For sure.
And it's, like, the healthiest way to cope with it. Because how many times when you fail at something is it only your fault? Usually there's a lot of factors that come into it that you can't control, so it's easy not to let them kill you and drive you crazy.
Well, I think using the soccer analogy, and again, like, laughing and with my boys, you got to be the goldfish, right? I mean, just like
The goldfish?
yeah, who is it? Soccer.
Someone did say that. You said that earlier.
I'm lost.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
The Netflix special, the coach, soccer guy.
Got me.
Anyways, but
Finding Nemo.
no, damn.
Are you saying because the goldfish has a short memory?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But that was it. Forgive me. It was in one of the movies we were watching. But that's what he talked about, right? He gave this big speech, and he said, "Guys, you got to be like a goldfish, right? The goldfish has a memory of like all of 2 seconds, right? That's it. And I think." Especially in sports, business, right? Entrepreneurship. It's really the embarrassment of failure that I think allows or gives the avenue for people to quit. Who cares, right? And for me, being a jiu-jitsu guy, scars and some cauliflower ear and, a little bit of blood on the face makes it a little cooler, right? So
Sure, chicks like you more too.
Yeah, right. Hopefully that's why my wife liked me, right? I mean, these ugly ears. But at the end of the day, don't let the ego get in the way of it, and just keep it moving. As long as you keep it moving, success is somewhere in the mix of it.
I'd say so. What about you, Randy?
It all comes down to how you feel about it. Because if you did something incorrectly and you recognize that there's a better way to do it, well, then only real gain has happened, because then you're getting closer to the goal. But if you don't have the confidence to get past that, and you let that stick and you let that define you, that it really all comes down to not what happened, it's how you view what happened. That's really the core of it. And at the beginning of my career, I mean, I was fired multiple times, and again for a lot of reasons that are dumb, and you have clients who expect things that you think aren't true. But hey, if you're going to do volume, like we said, and sell a lot of houses, you're going to deal with a lot of different people who want things done a lot of different ways. So if you're not bendable, you're not really planning on being as successful as you planned on being. So you got to be malleable, and you got to drop that ego every day.
How do you do that? What's something that you do when like you said, it is out of your control.
Constantly work on my mindset.
And you do remove yourself from the issue.
Constantly asking myself, are the thoughts that are going on in my head the thoughts I want to be having? Constantly, always thinking about what I'm thinking about, and making sure that the stream of thoughts in my head are focused in a way that, can process these bumps in the road that come. Because if you're not ready for the bumps, then, that's when they get you.
You're toast, yeah.
I think, just to Randy's point, growth is really an attitude. It's an attitude. And with that attitude, just like Randy's saying, it's the ego that creeps in, right? I mean, as I've gotten older, it's become a lot easier to fail, right? I mean, I'm very open with those because I'm actually proud of them, right? I mean, they're like scars, but just like Randy said, it's constant, it's consistent, it's, talking to yourself. What's your self-talk like? Are you positive? Or are you negative? Are
Extremely.
you beating yourself up? And again, going back to my really shitty, goldfish analogy that I jacked up there, but that's it, right? I mean, how long does a mistake really last, right? I mean, most people after you make it, they've forgotten it. It's you personally that's not, right? So constantly, just like Randy said, assessing your mind frame. And then, your question, how do you do that? Well, the first thing you do is you surround yourself, like we have, around individuals who are committed to growth, right? And not the fake kind, right? I mean, we're sure not starting this podcast to be braggers of what we did.
Wait, what?
Yeah, right. Wait. Oh, all right, I'm out of here. But
They lied to me.
But I think, again, like, when you surround yourself with those people, I mean, many of times, right, the two of you guys in the room have picked me up, right, helped me with my mind frame, hopefully likewise, right, with
Definitely.
Yeah. So
Definitely.
I think the number one thing you can do is surround yourself around those people. Well, maybe someone might say, how do I identify them? You'll know.
Yeah.
You'll know.
Yeah.
They'll be open. They'll be honest.
Allies.
Yeah.
There's friends and there's allies.
I love it.
Friends want what they want from you. That can be a good thing when it works, but allies really care what's good for you, not what you can do for them. And
Yep.
those are the kind of people you want. Whether you're working directly with them or not. We have allies in the business who don't work with us.
Sure.
So.
And I think the second thing you do that's just as important is then you cut all the negative people out of your life. It's not a cozy, comfortable thing to talk about, but I've learned to use the sword in my life pretty quick. I think I get that from my dad, likely. But if it's negative, why spend time on it, man? And like the good Lord said, not everyone wants to change, not everyone wants to grow, right? So that's okay. That doesn't make them bad. It sure doesn't make us right. Maybe it just makes us different. And you want to find those people that are beating that same drum. So in order to grow, usually something's got to die. And a lot of times it is that small inner circle that you're closest to that kind of like crabs in a bucket are pulling you down. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, learning to pull within and find strength in yourself and spend time alone. That's one thing I've really had a hard time with at a young age. I never wanted to be alone. Always wanted to be with friends.
Did you feel like you were entertaining, or you were kind of projecting something?
I don't even know. I think it was just my nature. I don't think I ever really thought about it. And But then when you really start to try to identify what it is that you want to do and what winning will be to you, you realize that you're never going to get there if you don't spend any time thinking on your own and planning and being strategic, you know, and you need time and space to do that. And to give that to yourself is a great gift, but it also, you know, time alone when you're not in a good mental place can be you know, that's definitely it's look, sit there with yourself in the mirror, like I said, like we've talked about before. Look at yourself in the mirror for 10 seconds. If you can't get through that 10 seconds, you know you're in a bad place, right?
Yeah, the old mirror test. Again, just like Randy's saying, the three of us always chat. I mean, you know if you're doing all you can, right?
You do.
And in that 10 seconds, just like Randy said, it's that true assessment, right? And like Randy alluded to, that tunnel can be dark at times, right? That's why your peer groups and the people you're around and you associate with, they're the light at the end of the tunnel, right? You know, I find that just the three of us in this room usually are at different places in our journey, right? Randy's up, I'm down, you know, Dan is sideways. When I'm down, I'm leaning into Randy, right?
Yep.
You know, I'm trying to get his mojo, right? So it's finding that community to like feed off of each other. And I think what's really hard about growth is you have to have personal ownership, right? You've got to look yourself in the mirror, and there's plenty of days that I've done it in my life. I'm fucking up, right? I'm messing this up. You know, the litmus test doesn't go much deeper than, you know, the stomach, right? And then, like we've said, and Randy alluded to earlier too, is it's the mind frame. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being in the tunnel. There's nothing wrong with being in a bad place. But for us, you know, and maybe I'm speaking for myself here, I just think the problem would be if you didn't do anything about it, right? Don't want to be a victim, right? That takes so much time, you know, so much energy.
It doesn't help you.
Yeah,
And,
doesn't
you know,
help anybody.
Nobody's coming to get you is kind of a thing.
Sure.
Or something that I've kind of been like using to kick a little bit of my pants or kick myself in the seat of my pants where I've just been like, listen, man, you know, you want these things and you can get them. The world is built in such a way, we're very grateful that though it may require a lot of effort and time, it's like there is a path. So you know, the more effort I put towards it, the more like I'm like, oh yeah, I feel grateful that you have an opportunity to do it, even though you are working a lot or whatever.
Hell yeah.
Even, you know, you don't want to work forever, and life isn't all about work, but you do want to grow and make yourself into something that, hey, you know, I am in my family, like a pillar in my family, where it's like, hey, if anybody needs anything, for
Hell
sure.
Yeah, that's being a leader, you know, and being a leader, like Randy alluded to earlier, it's lonely.
It can be.
You know, but again, if you build that community, you build that brace, and I agree with you, right? I mean, it's you want to be that pillar for somebody, right? It's an honor to be a servant. You know?
And
so
you know,
lean into it.
The beating yourself up thing too is such a waste of time, and it's never one time helped me. And you know, you can be hard on yourself and like have a realistic, like intellectual assessment of what you're working on and how good you're doing at it. But like where you like, you know, drop your keys and you're like, it's because you're a friggin' idiot and you always drop your keys because you got dumb hands because you're born dumb in this dumb body, and like you can just, you know, and those dumb is a nice version of the word I usually use. But, you know, like you were saying, how you can just really just allow yourself to beat up. And that's negative talk, even though it's like maybe well-intentioned, it's going to bleed over into everything, and it does.
Sure.
And that's when you have everybody to lean into and say, like, look, I'm eating a lot of crap today. Let me just, and oftentimes too, how many times have you had something on your mind where you're like, it's by the time you're done explaining the problem to somebody, you have your answer. You're like, oh, I've walked through it.
Yeah. Well, we laugh, right? Me and Randy laugh a lot of time, right? When I really, like Randy said, choose to, to spend some personal time reflecting, I often find my problems are really the blessings that, you know, I ask the good Lord for. Because some of the things you ask for, right, you know, goals, right, outcomes, they require effort.
Yeah.
Right? So a lot of times that's where I find my grounding that, look, I asked for this. You know, business has been hard, or, you know, this client, or, this project, right? I mean, how like you said, how lucky am I just to be in the game? Just
Yeah.
to be in the game,
Or trying to grow it like in the midst of a win. Because I mean, we've all had our days
That's
in
a
the
big
sun.
one.
Obviously, we've all had success, right?
And then you're just like,
Then recognizing what's your
Taking it
output
easy.
during these wins before you realize, hey, it's been 3 weeks since I've won. I'm actually losing. So it's staying that way at all times. If you're always going like this, that
So, Randy, we'll keep it on you since we are talking about the super comfortable topic of big failures and times we've made misses. Is there any? I mean, I'll just pull the Band-Aid. What's your biggest failure? It feels like affected you.
My biggest failure is definitely choosing the easy way. In my first career, I chose insurance because that was my family business, and my dad had an agency, and I had a built-in, salary, and I don't regret all of it. Me and my dad had a great time working together. I have great memories there, but I never belonged in that business. I always knew it. I never loved it. I wasn't passionate about it. And I just never asked myself questions like that. Because I wanted to play music, but I didn't put my heart and soul into that. I was kind of doing a bunch of different things and partying. I mean, I guess being young, I don't regret it anymore, but definitely my biggest failure is not giving myself an opportunity at a young age to be focused and really go after something that was really me.
Sure. I love that.
Are you doing that now? Do you feel like?
100%. Yeah. I love what I do.
Where was the change? What changed? Or what modified it? Or was there one instance where you were like, this is now has to be different?
Yeah, I think I did realize that at a certain point I hated the business I was in
Sure.
for a lot of different reasons. We won't get into that now, but it just wasn't for me. I didn't fit into it. I wasn't the person. I didn't have the skill set or the wants or the desires to be the person that I had to be really successful at that. I was always faking it or riding off someone else's coattails or doing a half-assed job. Straight up.
Love it.
So I didn't care. And but now I do something that I love.
So are
and
you
that
telling me there are people at State Farm and Allstate who don't actually care?
I can tell you there's people doing pretty much everything there is in the world that don't care. But yeah,
But we're not them.
no,
Randy is not them.
not anymore.
Hell yeah, man. Matt, shoot it over to you.
My biggest failure.
Yeah,
I was lucky.
it's a fun question.
Well, I was lucky in that I failed probably as hard as you can, and as fast as I can, because for me it was around 16 or 17. Just like my two little boys, I mean, sports rules my life, right? So I played baseball and football, and I went to a school called Eisenhower out on the east side. As a sophomore, I played varsity football and varsity baseball, and that was cool. You went to the regional finals, and there definitely were some doors opening, right, to play in college. And my whole life up to that point, I felt that God put me on earth to play baseball. I really did. I was obsessed with it. When I look at my little boys, it's like looking at me. I mean, they just have a ball right everywhere they go. Then fast forward my junior year. My junior year, a lot of the schools that at that point were talking to me said that I needed to get bigger, right? I was, I was probably 140 pounds soaking wet. So I spent a lot of time in the off season lifting weights. I got bigger. But in the meantime,
gross.
right? Yeah. In the midst of that, it messed up my swing, right? So I came into my junior year, which for everyone probably knows, I mean, that's one of your biggest recruiting years, right? And got it. And what happened in there is in that season, it was terrible. I was usually a 400 hitter. I batted like 185. It was awful. And through that, all the things that we just talked about, I didn't demonstrate, right? My ego, oh my gosh, I mean, ate me up. I failed like crazy openly. I had a community of friends. I had a community of an area that kind of just shit on me. And as a young guy, I didn't respond well to that, right? So rather than go after it and realize, like the goldfish, that this was not a big deal, this was a 2-second thing here, it destroyed me. I mean, mentally. And through that, now it's where I built a lot of my relentlessness, right? Looking back at that failure, I realized if I would have just kept going, probably wouldn't have changed my path all that much, right? I chose to quit, right? I chose to change my path. So that was my biggest failure. But in the same breath, it's been my biggest blessing, kind of like I alluded to earlier. But it fell right on my face. Long story, I went and played junior college. Even that, when I showed up, I already knew I was quitting. I was beaten, and like Randy and us were talking about, I mean, the mental games I played with myself, it was over before it started. So now I'm the complete opposite of that, where I find my business today, right, in the real estate industry. Oh, it gave me that gut check, but I have the lesson. I'm just going to keep going. I don't care. Yeah. It is hard. Good. I'm built for it.
You're playing,
I'm built for it. Yeah, and through that lesson, that's what I've learned. I just keep going, right? I mean, if I bagged it right now, then it'd be over, right? And, I look forward to taking the scar of this year and turn it into the success of next year and just pile it on. Yeah, exactly. But, yeah.
Purpose is power.
Boom.
Exactly. Have any of you guys ever had a fish, goldfish, pet fish tank?
I had a lot of fish when I was little,
Did you feel like they knew you ever?
No.
I had a fish one fish. Anyway.
There you go.
It was one of the sucker fish on the wall, and it would swim up when I was there. It felt like it knew me. So
I believe you.
Maybe they're not as stupid as they
there
seem.
You go.
Whoever that was maybe has some personal gripes against goldfish.
Yeah.
So we are running out of time a little bit, but I have plenty of failures for the next episode, so stay tuned. Looks like you can get us on YouTube,
all right. If you want to check us out, all of us are on Facebook, right? Matthew Stransky, Randy Hambright, Dan Inglese. And then if you want to see us collectively as a group, check us out over at stranskyandcompany.com or our Instagram, which is Stransky and Company. You can find us on Facebook there too. But pleasure, man. Yeah, day one.
Yeah, this is the first of many.
Love
Randy,
it.
Anything to plug? Any dates coming up?
What is it? December 15th, Friday night, Irish Tavern.
Oh, be there or be square.
Come watch me.
I'm telling you, he rips those things.
He puts it down.
Yep.
Puts it down.
Another failed dream.
Beat around. No, not at all.
Hey,
not
Phil, I love it. Yeah.
All right. Well, we did it, guys. First one in the books.
Boom.
Awesome.
Amen. All right. Take
you
it
guys.
easy, y'all. Thanks for everything.